Hello ATF team, Dr. J coming to you here with your week 3 functional fitness prescription and your very own ATF breakout. Let's talk a little bit about what it is we're going to be doing this week. As you can see, it's probably not much different than what you saw in your first couple weeks of your first functional fitness prescription, and that's because, again, we're continuing to focus on that mobility. We're trying to inhibit that dysfunctional tissue, those trigger points and those knots, and we're trying to increase the elasticities of that fascia and that musculature that has been so tight and restricted for so long. And we're going to have to continue to do this throughout our corrective exercise programming and our functional fitness prescriptions. We have to not only improve and get mobility back to within normal limits, but we also have to maintain it. So you're going to see that we continue to focus on this. Again, with this, we recommend that you get a good warm-up, you drink plenty of fluids, follow that with a cool down. That's why we highly recommend that you engage in that cardiovascular exercise. Remember, that's the absolute bare minimum. If you want to do more, that would be absolutely great. However, that is optional, and we're always trying to fit this into your world so you can function better in your world, and that you're trying to get these functional fitness prescriptions done within about a 15-minute period or 2 15-minute blocks. So we're hoping you're able to get all these completed within that time frame, and it's working for you. Remember, again, you can utilize and watch any one of these functional fitness prescriptions on your smartphone, your smart TV, Blu-ray player, download them to your tablet, or watch them on your computer, whatever is most easily accessible for you. So again, make sure you're following and watching each one of those videos. Progress and regress as appropriate. We want this to be as aggressive as possible, but not painful. Again, the idea is to do it right. Okay, this isn't a no pain or no gain situation. However, many of these, especially as we work on those trigger points and knots, will be uncomfortable. Okay, these are areas that haven't got a lot of attention, and they have a decreased blood flow, and they have a lot of restrictions, so we want to focus on that. Now, let's talk about what's a little bit different about week 3. What you should be seeing here is towards the end of your days 1, 3, 5 and days 2 and 4, you'll see a little bit different exercises. So we have advanced from that drawing maneuver. It's not that we're not doing the drawing anymore, but we've added some tin mans and some marchers. So what we're doing is we're still drawing in. We're really wanting you to flatten that back to the floor, and again, we're taking gravity out of this, or I should say we're taking stability out of this in terms of your extremities, ankles, knees, etc., and we're really putting you in what's called a supine position or face up position, and allowing you to have a lot of base support and a lot of balance so that you can retrain that core. So draw in tight. Remember, when you do this, you're sucking that belly button into the floor, but you should still be able to talk because we're not holding our breath. We're not increasing interthoracic pressure so that we can't speak. We should still be able to talk, but we're drawing in tight, and we're learning to stabilize those hips and spine. So we're going to incorporate the Tin Man and Marcher. Again, this allows us to incorporate that drawing maneuver, but we're now starting to activate the upper extremities, in that case the arms, or the lower extremities, which in that case ends up being the marchers. Again, make sure you watch each one of the ATF minutes and that you watch for the different progressions you can do on each of these. If you're in that U1 category, you may have seen Or the Ideal, which I don't believe many of us were in, but you should see that we've also incorporated the use of, it's called IC or Indian clubs, but we realize while you each have access to Indian clubs within your respective stores, is my understanding, all of you at this point in time that order the ATF pack should have access to weighted gloves. And so that'll give you a little bit of that pendulum type action, or that resistance at your distal hand or the far hand, or again with the Indian clubs, you can utilize those at work. If you don't have access to either one of those, you certainly can use your hands. And again, the emphasis here as we start to work through that preliminary movement on the Indian club motions is we really want you to focus on form. We want a stiff wrist. We want to draw and trace with the elbow, and we want to suck back and pull tight with that shoulder blade, pulling it back along the posterior rib cage and bringing it in tight to the spine. Again, those pulls or that posterior movement or retracting that scapula back against the spine is a movement that we've all lost as we have that U1 posture. Those shoulders have come forward, our head has come forward. We have a lot of wear and tear on the front side of the shoulder, so we want to elongate that. So you notice we had some mobility and some stretching exercises for the pec, and then we have this Indian club motions where we're improving those kinematics, or the motion of the shoulder, and we're really working on this rhythmic stabilization and gaining mobility at the shoulder and at the shoulder blade and rib cage. So those two joints are really important. Remember, stiff wrist, trace with the elbow, and draw and pull back tight, really emphasizing that shoulder motion. So we hope you're enjoying the exercises, and we'll continue to progress here. But remember, it's all about doing it right, okay? And it's all about function. So as we move along, use your appropriate progression and regression models. Use those ATF minutes. Try to go as difficult as you can, but it's all about doing it right. If you can't do it right, go ahead and regress down to that next level. Remember, the ATF is here to help you function better in your world.